All right, guys, we are live. This is the Shillan and Duffy show, recapping UFC Vegas 113, the first Apex show of the year. Ben is having some technical difficulties right now, so I'll try to get him in as soon as possible. But shout out to everybody in the chat. We'll get to as many comments, and I think I got Ben back. All right, Ben. All right.
Sorry.
So, like I said, my name is Keith Shillan, and joining me as always is the senior editor of Sherdog.com, the great Ben Duffy. Ben, how you doing, brother?
Better now. Sorry that pee break took longer than I expected. I mean, if we're being honest, I expected that the main event would still be going right now. Like, I'm taken a little off guard.
Fair enough. I will say a couple housekeeping things. First, I apologize. I have a little bit of a cold, so if I'm sniffling and wiping my nose or anything like that, I apologize. I'm also work related stuff. I'm on like 2 hours sleep in the last 40 hours, and I shoveled 8 driveways today. So well, I snowblowed. I didn't shovel, but a little bit of shoveling. Anyways, we have 13 fights to cover. First thing we want to shout out to everybody in the chat. Guys, we don't have a know your host question. I know
we do.
Oh, we do. Okay, we do have it.
I sent it to you. But you know what? It says it resent it as an SMS. Like, yeah, my messaging must have messed up.
Okay.
No, I've got one. You'll just be surprised by it.
All right, we'll do it off the cuff. And if you guys want to have any suggestions, throw it in the chat. We'll try to get to as many comments. It's probably a little quicker as the main event went pretty quick. But let's get right into it. In the main event, Mario Batista took on Vinicius Oliveira, with Batista winning by second round submission. Pretty flawless victory for Batista. Dominated pretty much pillar to post. I think maybe other than like one hard kick from Oliveira. Batista, I mean, this definitely was a step up in competition for Oliveira, and he showed he is not on Batista's level. Batista looked absolutely sensational, Ben. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I felt as though the reputation of these two guys coming in was that Mario Batista was starting to get some, maybe unfair, in my opinion, flack as a boring fighter, and people thought of Oliveira as this like explosive killing machine, but Oliveira came in on a streak of 3 straight decisions himself. Yeah, Batista gave one of those stereotypical there are levels to this performances, because not only did he just completely run him over on the ground, you could see how much trouble Oliveira was having on the feet, just with Batista having a disciplined kickboxing game, managing distance well, just doing the little things right. He made Oliveira look out of his depth. And Oliveira, whatever his shortcomings may be, is a very dangerous striker. So as you mentioned, if the worst that happened to Batista was absorbing one hard shot in about 9.5 minutes of work, that's a pretty damn good performance. And I have the feeling this is a performance that's going to age well as Oliveira goes on and wins 4 of his next 5 fights and kind of stays in the outskirts of the top 10. Like, this is a good performance by Mario Batista.
Yeah, Larasenko said during the walkouts, he said, well, Batista really, not Batista, Oliveira doesn't really have game plan. He just kind of lets it go when he's in there and sees what happens. And I'm like, man, like, that is the complete opposite of Batista. He had a game plan. And then the way Oliveira started fighting, like, went into Batista's game plan. Like, he prolonged some of the grappling exchanges when he should have been breaking away. To me, when he wasn't throwing his big haymakers, wasn't on the gas really hard, I was like, oh man, this is not gonna, like, I don't know if he was trying to conserve his energy, but then he started wrestling with Batista. There was one point where they were in a clinch and Batista kind of reached down and like almost baited him to throw a knee. And as soon as Oliveira threw a knee, he just shot in, like timed it and cut the corner. And I was like, dude, that was so freaking smart and slick. And I mean, his ground game tonight, and yeah, sure, Oliveira gassed a little bit, or not a little bit. It looked like he gassed a lot, but when he got he got taken down, he elevates him immediately to his back. That you could see Oliveira slowing down, getting tired, kind of throws a little bit of a desperation. Let me get on top, trying to hold on, trying to get some rest to get, as soon as you get that, like, oh, here I go, I got a takedown. As soon as it hits the ground, you get elevated right to your back. That's just sucked the life out of him. that just killed the spirit. And then Batista's on the gas, moves to the crucifix, dropping shots, then a Kimura to the back take to the rear naked choke. Of that transition, someone in the chat said it was like Demetrius Johnson movement. It was like, dude, that's a good comparison. That was right on.
It was, beautifully
Rampage.
done. Yeah, SOS Rampage is the one that said that, I believe. Beautiful work, and the tap came so quick when he finally locked up the choke. I think because Oliveira was exhausted and panicked, and I can put up with a fully locked in choke when I'm calm and fresh, much longer than a partly locked in choke when I'm exhausted and flailing and already having to breathe really, really hard. Like, just, no blaming him at all for the tap. I'm sure.
Yeah, the tap
he was just like, this is not my night. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and if he didn't tap that, and I mean, somehow he fought out of it, all he was going to take more punishment. That was not going to go. It was when I knew the match. I mean, I liked Batista anyways heading into this, but I knew the match was over when at the end, the first round ends, and Oliveira doesn't get up. He just kind of pushes himself to his corner, doesn't get up. I'm like, oh, he's done. Like he doesn't want to get off the mat. I'm like, that's bad. Yeah. And it's funny because the promo for this week, like all the talk this week was about how much weight Oliveira cuts, and I'm hearing this, and I'm like, some people kind of almost use that as positive, like, oh, he's gonna be so big, and I'm like, no, my God, that's terrible. Like he cut 30 pounds this week, and he was cutting 50 pounds during fight camp and everything. It's like
you might have to fight 5 rounds against a guy that doesn't really get tired, right? That, yeah.
And Batista was hearing this and loving it, and thinking, I'm gonna like, he's already a guy that zaps people's gas tank, but you're just like, oh my God, you're like, just there's a wide receiver over there, and like, oh, let's not even put a cornerback on him. Let's just let him throw it to that guy. Yeah, I'm not like giving up on Oliveira. I wasn't the highest on Oliveira to begin with, but I mean, Batista, there, he lost to Umar, and 99% of the division is going to lose to Umar, but he called for a fight with Corey Sandhagen, and I know we're kind of jumping ahead of it already, and I know it's a rematch. I think that's perfect.
I like it just fine. I normally kind of think in the opposite direction than a rematch and a guy coming off a win fighting a guy coming off a loss, but Sandhagen has more name recognition. He's been a ranked fighter for longer. If he wants it and Sandhagen's down, do it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm saying Hagen, I probably don't want it. I mean, you don't really gain too much from it. But Sandhagen's also not in the position that he can really pick and choose. Obviously, if I'm Sandhagen, I'm pushing for that. I'm pushing for the Sean O'Malley fight. And honestly, stylistically, that's probably an easier fight for him. If I'm talking about Sandhagen with O'Malley. Who would be the betting favorite? I know we are not a betting show. I don't pretend to be a betting expert. I cannot set lines. There's a couple things I cannot do. I can't whistle and I can't set lines.
My guess would be that it comes in close to a pick'em.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like right now, and I love to live in the moment, and it's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna pick someone over this guy. I think I just absolutely, if this was a Mortal Kombat, is it Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter? Was one like it was Mortal Kombat, right? If you fought and didn't even get punched, it was like flawless victory.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
That's pretty much what we just had right here.
Pretty close, yeah.
And then obviously Sandhagen, on the other hand, we're seeing him coming off a loss. I like that as a main event of like a fight night. I know neither guy has the biggest personality, especially Batista's not really known for his personality. But I'd give it like a fight night main event in the Apex.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's as compelling as this one was.
If I'm and Ninja Kitty put this in the chat, and I'm sure a lot of people are kind of echoing this. If I'm Oliveira's family, friends, coach, I'm convincing him to move up. I think it makes more sense. If you're cutting that much weight, you're cutting that much weight. You might want to move up 2 weight classes.
Yeah, and there's always the question. Okay, yeah, he has the weight, but how would the frame translate? Well, He's taller than Piotr Jan, Murad Dvalishvili. But like moving up, like he's probably taller than Movsar Evloev. He's taller than Volkanovski. He's like, yeah,
he'd be, he's not Aljamain Sterling, but he have a similar build. Who moved up and thanks, Juan. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Juan.
I'm not going to match make him moving up, but I think his style moving up, I think he would actually add power. And honestly, if you think about it, it's probably an easier division stylistically.
Yeah.
If he's going to gas out wrestling, who at 145 can really wrestle?
You have to wait. Volt can. Evloev obviously can. Aljamain Sterling can. But we're all talking about top 5, 6, 7 guys.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
He has to win, but no, he has to win at least 3 fights at 145 before he's even talking about those guys.
Yeah. And Volt could be gone by then. Aljamain Sterling could be. 2 of those guys could be retired by then.
Yeah. Because, Vinicius Oliveira looked exciting, but he's a guy with maybe one top 15-ish win at 135, moving up to 145. It's not Aljamain Sterling moving up. It's a fringe top 15 prospect, fringe contender type moving up. He'd have to fight a couple fights before he runs into one of the dudes we just mentioned.
Yeah, SOS Rampage 3 double Z. SOS _ Rampage 3 double Z. Asked, could there have been an injury because he looked rough halfway through? Yeah, that's always a possibility. You will hear these things later on. That absolutely, there could have been an injury there. Do you think he moves up?
No,
I don't think so either. Like some of these guys, they want to be the weight bullies and be the biggest guy, and so I'm gonna match make him with someone we saw tonight, and I'm gonna put him against Farid Basharat, who won tonight against Gene Matsumoto in an incredible fight. We'll get to in a little bit.
I almost think Farid deserves better.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to see what you said. So who would you match him with?
Well, if we're going that way, I just match him with the loser. It's 2 guys that they're
you match
prospects. Yeah, because there are 2 prospects that they took their lumps tonight, but it's not time to jump entirely off either of their trains. Like they're still guys with talent and skills, just they need a bounce back fight. One of them gets it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? Honestly, the main event, it was kind of a shellacking. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
No, that's it.
A lot of people's main event was Kyoji Horiguchi, returning for the second time since he returned to the UFC, taking on Amir Albazi. He was also returning after an extremely long layoff. Kyoji Horiguchi won by unanimous decision. Ben, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask this to the entire chat. I don't need a big, long answer. You can give a big, long answer. I'm saying the chat. You don't have to give a big, long answer. You can just give me a yes or no. Is Kyoji Horiguchi the best flyweight in the world?
No.
No. Oh, wow. I think you're going to say yes. So you go, my man, Josh Mann.
Well, we'll never find out in the cage, but I think Pantoja's probably better than he is.
Okay.
And I think we might find out about him and Van next. And the thing is, it's plausible. I'm not saying he absolutely isn't. Like there's a chance he is. Like there are all but about 4 flyweights in the world that you ask me that question, I go absolutely no. With Horiguchi, there's a chance.
Yeah,
and it's a thing where if he fights Van next, I'm gonna do a lot more tape watching before I come down one way or the other. But I tell you this: if those guys fight 10 times, it doesn't go the same way every time. So he might be.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said there. If somebody jumped in the chat and said Brandon Royval is the best flyweight in the world, I'd be like, no, he's not. Like, stop.
He's just lost to too many of the other guys in the conversation recently.
You tell me Kyoji Horiguchi is the best? I might disagree, and I'm not even saying I do, but I might disagree. But I ain't arguing it. like steak and lobster at this point. He's looked sensational. He looked so incredible against Tajir Ulanbekov. I didn't think it was possible for him to come back and look even. I think he looked even better.
He didn't look as dominant and flawless, but he answered more questions about himself, which again, it wasn't as dazzling a performance, but it's one that answers, well, it goes towards answering the question you just asked. Is he the best flyweight in the world? I feel better about that possibility after this fight. Like, because there are some questions. Within 15 seconds of when they started fighting, I was like, how was Kyoji Horiguchi beating very good bantamweights 3 years ago? Because Amir Albazi looked like a suit of armor that Kyoji could have stepped into. And Albazi isn't that big a flyweight. Horiguchi is smaller than I thought he was.
Like, yeah, both of us picked Horiguchi to beat Ulanbekov, but I checked while you're talking, and it wasn't that long ago. He was a almost 2-1 underdog against Ulanbekov. He was a plus 190 underdog. I was even though we both picked Horiguchi, so I would say we were on the pro Horiguchi side.
Oh yeah,
obviously we picked him, but I was still like worried. I was worried that we'd be having this conversation in chat and we'd be like, no, I swear this guy used to be really, really good. You know what I mean? Like, no, he was the man because he's 35 years old. Flyweight, not only was he a 35-year-old flyweight, but he was a 35-year-old going back down to flyweight. He hasn't been in the division in a decade. And again, sure, he still beat Ulanbekov, which I think is probably top 10-ish.
Yeah,
top 10-ish flyweight. He beat Albazi when we last saw him as a top 10. He's had a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if he really is a top 10 anymore, but still a very quality win regardless. Sure, he hasn't beat a top 5 guy. He didn't just beat Tatsuya Taira tonight. He didn't, he didn't beat Brandon Moreno. He didn't beat guys like this. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's most impressive to me is what he's doing. Like the commentary team kept talking about how fast he looked, and I'm like, yeah, 35-year-olds shouldn't be this fast.
His mitts are nasty. Like, I know I'm not exactly breaking new ground,
sure,
but his hands are fast and there's such pop on them without overswinging. Like we talk about this all the time, that fighter X has good power, but it's because he overswings on everything. Whereas fighter Y, just everything has more crack on it than you expected just because he plants his feet, throws with proper mechanics. I mean, we're going to be talking about Michal Oleksiejczuk in a minute. There's just something to be said for that. Like, what a performance by Kyoji Horiguchi. And
he gets you guessing with all his movement and his darting in and out. You never know when he's coming. Like it to me is watching like a perfectly, that I guess I'm a little bit in football mode, but like a high powered, like think about like when we're both old. A lot of people in the chat won't get this, but remember like the Rams with Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk and the Isaac Bruce and Torrey Halton. The team was absolutely loaded, and they'd be like, all right, draw play to Marshall Falk. Okay, now it's a rollout, and we're hitting Isaac Bruce, and now we're going to do a reverse to Torrey Holt. And then like just had you kind of guessing the entire time. That's how it is with Horiguchi. Like he's bouncing all around, he's fainting, and then all of a sudden he's coming in, he's throwing in, a big overhand right, jumps in, throws a big overhand, gets back out. Then he's coming in, he's hitting you with a jab. Then he throws a different angle on the punch, and he's changed up the rhythm. Now he's not throwing one punch, he's coming in with a 4-punch combination. And I'm like, dude, like it is so hard to guess what this guy is doing. And then he hits very, like, when we think of like the biggest hitters in the division, we think of like, historically like Figueiredo or Cop right now or something like that. You don't think of Horiguchi, and it was like he was just kind of like setting his traps in the first, and all of a sudden I look and it's just I just look at Albazi's face is just busted up without Horiguchi even starting it. I'm like, dude, how hard did that hit?
No, now that's partly, I noticed this when they were walking out. I'm like, Amir Albazi is a top 10 fighter in MMA and he's in his early 30s. How does he have the scar tissue of some club tomato can boxer who's 46 years old and his record's like 19 and 112? Like, what happened to this man? Like, wherever he is right now, like Vanderlei Silva is like reaching out to him with like the name of a clinic in Brazil where he can go get his eyebrow like bones shaved down. Like, what happened? Good Lord.
He's a pretty ugly dude. I ain't Tom Cruise.
Well, I'm not even rating him on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm just rating him on a scale of 1 to bursts wide open as soon as anybody touches his face with a jab.
Oh.
Like he's got that Diaz brothers thing where, yeah, good grief.
Oh, yeah. Ninja Kitty, Seattle, well, Horiguchi, New England tomorrow. Yeah, you mean never won a championship? Yeah, nice job. Yeah, I was having fun, and then like anything like his takedown defense. That he's. I mean, at one point, Albazi was able to take him down. He'd pop right back up, and then he almost like got angry and was like, and then that's when he had his. Albazi took him down, and then he got up, and the next minute he just freaking tortured Albazi.
Well, the thing that concerned me about Horiguchi in the first round was he had such a speed advantage. Just again, his hands were so much quicker. He was so accurate, but Albazi was able to get him down to a certain extent and corral him to a greater extent just by bullying straight forward and running him into the fence. I was like, okay, Albazi does not have what it takes to really make this into a problem for Horiguchi, but Devin Tejada, our man who's actually in the chat hanging right now, was like, could you see Tatsuro Taira doing this to him? And if he gets him down, is it lights out? Yeah. Like,
no,
so that's a little concerning.
Not lights out, no way. No, but he took him down for a half a second, and he just timed it perfectly. Like he kind of like surprised him by rushing in. No, I'm not saying Taira can't beat him. I mean, Taira's incredible. I mean, basically what he just did against Moreno. Yeah. I'm just saying, don't go. Oh, Albazi took down Horiguchi for 2.7 seconds, and now anybody who has a great ground game is going to beat Horiguchi. No.
It turned into a little time on the ground and a lot of time with him kind of having his back standing seatbelt position, but against the fence. But Horiguchi kept his poise, and again, Albazi kind of made it to second base numerous times that round, but never really did anything to Horiguchi.
Yeah. I was watching this and I I had kind of two thoughts going through my mind. The first one was like, man, it's so good to have Kyoji Horiguchi back in the UFC, and he deserves big name fight. I mean, I know at flyweight you never get a big name fight, but you know what I'm saying. Like he deserves press conferences and all this stuff. But then I'm sitting there and I'm just like, God damn, think of the fights we missed out on. I know I did this last week, but imagine him and Joseph Benavidez. Imagine him and Figueiredo and him and Cejudo and him in a rematch against Demetrius Johnson. And I feel like we've been cheated. And he had some huge fights. I mean, the Bellator stuff and Ryzen and Kopp and Asakura, and I mean, there's some big fights. As big a fights you could do, and not be in the UFC. He has done, but still.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little on the preview. If Horiguchi hadn't left the UFC, maybe there's no question he's the second greatest flyweight of all time at this point.
I'll go even bolder. Now, I'm a Demetrius Johnson guy. That I am. Trust me, you go back to the couple of years ago in the Slack chat, I was like the flag bearer for Demetrius Johnson's pound for pound rankings. But if Horiguchi doesn't leave the UFC, maybe, I'm not saying this, but maybe Demetrius Johnson is not on the Mount Rushmore.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Again, Demetrius Johnson's the man. Like, I'm not saying he would have beat Demetrius Johnson. All I'm saying is that it's not on the possibility. I'd probably taken Demetrius Johnson, but all right.
Bob Timpson is going to town in the chat because he is actually making a decent point amid the rants. I'm going to address it.
I almost ignore him half the time.
His comparison of Taira to Makoto Shinryu from Ryzen is a little rough, but considering how burned I've been on Yeah. Considering how burned I've been on Patchy Mix's UFC run within the last year, like I could see Tyra not doing as well as I thought he might, like against someone like Horiguchi. Yeah. But Tyra's better than that. Good grief.
Let's talk about Albazi for a second.
Okay.
I have a really hard time grasping, has he declined from 2000? And I think it's fair to, based on heart surgery and spinal surgery. Like this guy did not have a, cleaning up Diaz Bros, taking scar tissue off his face. He had some serious stuff he was dealing with. It's hard to me to realize, did he decline or not? Because to me, I really feel like if we were going to say, was this a bad showing from Albazi or an incredibly good showing by Horiguchi, I'm leaning towards an incredibly good showing by Horiguchi.
I don't even know if he's declined. Did he look especially worse than this against Brandon Moreno? He may just be a guy that's hit his ceiling. And there are plenty of fighters like that who look fantastic on the way up, and then once they hit a certain point, top 5, they get turned back badly, like Beneil Dariush, Calvin Kattar. Like there are fighters who are like that. Like they look like killers all the way up into the lower reaches of the top 10. And at a certain point, it's not just that they lose bad.
Yeah. And we said that in the previous show where, I know I said that. I just kind of view him as a B-level flyweight. And this is his chance to show that he's an A-level.
Yeah. I mean, again, B-level by the standards of he's still probably a top 10-ish guy. But yeah. Like
Yeah, like B-level is 7 to 14, and then C-level is C-level is the rest of the guys in the good Tim Elliott's, those kind of guys, and then D-level is much lower, and after I'm not counting regional, I'm comparing it to the highest standard. He's a B-level going to Harvard. You got to be at Harvard. You know what I mean? This isn't a community college of Rhode Island getting a B. Let's we keep saying the name. I think it's the no-brainer fight to make. Based on that Horiguchi has already faced Cop and there's already been that history, like I'm doing Horiguchi versus Tetsuya Taira. To me, that's a no-brainer. And if you can, obviously, I know the UFC schedule and trying to get him in Japan. I know that's a big. That's not saying book a event in Vegas. I know that's a big deal, but if you could get that in Japan, I mean, I don't love doing 5 a.m. cards, but that'd be pretty damn good one.
I can't believe I'm the one saying this, but I'm giving Horiguchi the title shot. Give me Horiguchi. Give me Van versus Horiguchi. Because here's the thing. If Alexandre Pantoja wins back the title, we're never going to see Horiguchi fight for it. He's older than Pantoja and has trained with him for like a decade.
Yeah, well, they've said they'll fight each other for the title.
It won't be cool. Like, yeah, I'm giving him the title shot.
What if I know we don't know what's going on with the injuries with Pantoja, but if say Horiguchi's like, Van is. It sounds like Van and Cop is gonna get something done, but they're not. It's not booked yet. But say Van goes, I'm looking at April. That'd be a pretty quick turnaround for Horiguchi. But Horiguchi, I mean, he's flawless, and he's like, I can go for April. And then all of a sudden, in Pantoja, you find out he's good. He could fight in April. Now, who you giving the shot to?
There you go. Like,
I'm asking you, who would you give the shot to? If Horiguchi and Pantoja are both ready to go,
I'm giving it to Horiguchi. I don't like the immediate. I don't like the rematch, man.
I'm cool with it. The only reason why I might do Pantoja, because if Van fought Horiguchi, would we get, is this even a title shot? Is this really the title?
Mm-hmm. So it's more like Van deserves to just unequivocally say, okay, I am the man. I beat the man and I beat him again. There's no question.
Yeah. But you know how it is. Sometimes you win the title and people claim, it's easy schedule to win the title and all this, instead of just beating the person who's in front of you, Yeah. I do the Tyra fight. Albazi. What are we doing with Albazi?
Who was it in the? I want to Oh yeah, Iman Report said Albazi versus Alex Perez. I like that. I said
Well,
Albazi versus Brandon Royval. Either way, I'm talking about a former top five-ish guy who's lost a couple of fights recently.
yeah, I'm looking at him like the similar like range as Alice. I wrote down Tim Elliott. Like he hasn't fought Tim Elliott. That's a fight I do. But yeah, I'm cool with Alex Perez. That one works.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. The snoozer of the night was Jelton Almeida taking on Razvan Kuniev in our consensus upset pick. Did hit as we both picked, right? We both picked Kuniev, right?
We both picked Kuniev, and beyond that, for these fight nights, I write the Sherdog text previews now, so I am going to pat myself on the back here. I'm not going to pat myself on the back for going like 12 for 13 or 11 for 12. I'm going to pat myself on the back for nailing this one. We both called the upset, and I said, one, Kuniev's going to win by probably pulling ahead late in an absolutely terrible fight. Check. And Kuniev has the possibility to turn into heavyweight Magomed Ankalaev. Check.
Check. Yeah. Yeah. Like we don't ever like really, I mean, you know how much I don't really care if we get our fix right or not. I asked you, did you pick that one right? Like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So that shows you how much, like, we're not the betting guys. We're like, we're going to turn off our social media if we get one wrong. It was an absolute snoozer, but I don't blame Kuniev at all for the snoozer. And I'll tell you why. He was winning, pushing Almeida against the cage. He's winning, taking no damage in return, no threat of takedown, but just having him controlling a wrist against the cage and landing some knees and some little short uppercuts. And I'm like, yeah, dude, if you're playing, if we were playing baseball and I bunted, but every single time I bunted, I got on base and every one of my teammates got on base, I'm probably going to bunt 20 or if you're struggling to throw a strike and we're just taking pitches and walking on the bases, yeah, it's going to be boring, but I sure as hell ain't telling my team to swing until you start throwing strikes.
Yeah. It's we don't love it as fans, but considering it's heavyweight, where again, we've had one champ in the entire history of the UFC that defended the title 3 times in a row. Like, everyone is dangerous. Like, why would you subject yourself to unnecessary danger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kuniev has not lost a fight in 11 years. Do you know how hard that is to do at heavyweight at any level of the sport?
Well, he just lost to Curtis Blades.
Never happened.
Well,
oh, no.
But honestly, a lot of but in fairness, most people thought he won that fight.
Yeah.
I thought he won. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I'm watching Almeida and I'm like, I don't think that he was never the guy. I'm not going to say that like, oh, he was a fraud or anything. He just looks disinterested. Like he doesn't care. Like it's over and it's over quick. And anybody I'm sitting there and I'm watching him like, could Josh Hokett do this to him? Could Josh Hokett hold him against the cage and beat him up?
Almeida?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I honestly think Hokett would probably sprawl and brawl Almeida. Because here's the thing. Almeida has taken a nosedive. We don't need to give up on him entirely. He's 33 years old in a division where he could do this for literally another 10 years. He could change things around, but he performed even worse than I expected. Like, I thought he was going to throw Kuniev around for a few minutes and then get tired. I was like, Kuniev is too big and too fundamentally sound to do the rinse and repeat thing you did to Derek Lewis. Like, you'll get tired and Kuniev will start tuning up on you. He didn't even have that first phase. He never ragdolled Kuniev. Like, I feel terrible on multiple levels using this old cliche, but it's the look like Tarzan fight like Jane thing. He has become so timid, so tentative. I thought I had the handle to it when I was like, okay, he gets conservative when he's worried about his own gas tank or his opponent's hands, like not even their kicks, but specifically their hands. It's not even that. He's just fighting timid these days, and it has cost him 2 fights in a row.
But is he even fight like against Volkov? I can understand the argument. Like he thought he was winning. I'm on top. I'm controlling jiu-jitsu background. You think you're winning, and then you lose, and you're like, wow. And then you're like, yeah, well, damage them one criteria. Like you, Volkov hitting you 3 times that round is still more times than you hit him, at all. But this one to me, I felt was even less like Like, you can't explain this one away. Like, this one's worse because you're pinned against the cage and you know you're losing. He's hitting you and you're not doing anything back. He's holding your wrist and you're not even trying to pull it away.
No,
Like, you're not hand fighting inside. You're not doing
his
anything. He just looked like
his
he's like
his
screw it.
corner was yelling fourth round shit to him after round 1. Like, it wasn't even strategy. It was just like, wake the hell up. Like, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I know. It was absolutely terrible. He looks, and I'm sitting there and I keep saying things, and I know it's like, oh, Keith, you always think that about wrestlers, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, extremely green 2-0 Gable Stevenson. I would walk in here and absolutely maul this guy right now.
Yep.
And he probably has no idea what a Kimura is, but he would murder this guy right now.
Yep.
What are we doing with Jelton? I mean, are we keeping him? We cut him? What are we doing?
We're keeping him, and we're giving him a fight where it's more about what the other guy deserves. Because fair or not, he still cuts a figure at the weigh-ins and on a poster. You keep him around because otherwise he's gonna end up in PFL or something. And Mick Parkin and Mario Pinto are fighting in London. Give him the winner of that.
Yeah.
And again, it's about what that guy deserves. Not
we're looking at
guy.
guys like outside of the top 10. Like we're in the same thing. A lot of people throw out Josh Hokett. I thought about doing Josh Hokett.
Do Josh Hokett at the White House? I'm in. Just get ready for Hokett to say some stuff that completely does not go with how terrible the fight was. Like, he just beats Almeida in this horrible fight that puts like everybody to sleep on the South Lawn, but then like says some wild shit. Yeah.
I was looking at Taliesin Teixeira. I mean, he's coming off that win. It was absolutely
That's what I got for Kuniev.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm going high for Kuniev. I mean, to me, like, yeah, it wasn't fun. So you're going with Teixeira. It wasn't fun, but his 2 fights in the UFC to me is Curtis Blades that I thought he won, and now Jelton Almeida. And I'm like, this guy deserves like a big name. I'll give him Sergey Pavlovich. And I think he might win that fight.
Because I'm not sure how Pavlovich shows up like looking. I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to preview that whole fight here, but considering how stymied Pavlovich was by just Volkov having a decent jab and moving his feet, I mean, that's Kuniev's whole game plan right there. Yeah.
All right. Before that, we had the classic main card Slava knocker hockey style fight as Mikhail Olasechuk won a unanimous decision over Marc-Andre Barriault, and a really fun, entertaining fight. I think both guys showed a hell of a chin. I think both guys had opportunities they could have went down. I think that both guys showed heart. But I'm going to say something pretty bold, and tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
I don't think it was a close fight. I think Marc-Andre Barriault had about a 30-second to 45-second little sprint in the second period, and that was it.
I don't feel as though it was that competitive, and that's impressive because you know what? That means that Michal Oleksiejczuk fought a Marc-Andre Barriault fight and still won.
I mean, the commentators made it seem like it was Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner won, where it was like, oh my God, I don't know who's going to win this. And I'm like, it was pretty clear. First round, third round for Olasechuk, and he might have won the second round too.
That's it to me.
Andre Barriault the second round, but I'm like, I don't think he did that much. I thought he was pretty much a punching bag for most of the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Oleksiejczuk, he has a hard ceiling. Like, honestly, this might be as high as he gets, but he's a fun guy to watch fight. He is a lifetime member of the Hits Harder Than It Looks Like He Should Hit club. Like,
yeah. Like, when you look at these two guys, Marc-Andre Barriault is one who should be the hard puncher, the first guy with all the first round knockouts, and it's not. So you kind of answered my question. I was going to ask you. He's won 3 fights in a row. Like, do you believe in Mikhail Olasechuk? So you're like, this is the sailing kind of thing.
Yeah, he is still the guy for a top 10 fighter coming off a loss to bounce back against. He is still the guy to test the next Joe Pyfer type up against. Like, I mean, if we get like Nickel versus Alexeychuk at some point in the next 12 months, that wouldn't shock me, something like that.
I believe him in the sense where he could upset somebody that is higher ranked and more talented than him. Like if he beat, say, who's the top? Brennan Allen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pick it, but it wouldn't shock me. But making a run would shock me.
Well, I have no reason to believe he isn't still the guy that, as Bob Chimpton points out, Kevin Holland just embarrassed on the ground. And before that, Michel Pereira embarrassed on the ground. We have no reason to believe that he shored up those deficiencies. And Barrios, like the Barrio fight, is more predicated on him just mashing you into the fence and mugging you there. But I feel as though if he'd wanted to take Alexeychuk down, if he'd really committed to it, he could have. And maybe we get a different fight.
Yeah. Who's that? Jacob Malkoun is in like the kind of same range as Alexeychuk right now, and I think Jacob Malkoun would have absolutely mauled him. I think he would take him down and beat him up.
Yep.
I know people hate on me for saying this, but I think Bo Nickel's a terrible stylistic matchup for him. But still, you know what? He's one of my favorite guys though. Like, he's fun as hell.
Oh yeah.
All right. Before that, to me, by far the best fight of the night. Like, I know they try to make Andre Barrio and Alexeychuk be great. To me, the best fight of the night, it's not even close. Fareed Basharat and Gene Matsumoto. Basharat winning by split decision. You know what I loved? Not only was it two great, talented guys, but this is what we expected. Like, we were saying, like, what do you mean Basharat is this, like, what was he, like 4-1 favorite, something stupid like we were talking about? I was like,
yeah,
this should be a pick'em. How did you score the fight?
I scored it 29-28 Basharat. I gave Matsumoto, actually, no. I 29-28 Basharat. I gave Matsumoto the last round.
Okay. So
I know the second round is the swing round.
I thought the first round was too, but yes, all three rounds were awesome.
Yeah.
I went the opposite. I went 29-28 Matsumoto. I gave Matsumoto the second and the third.
Yeah, for me, the thing with the second round is Matsumoto was coming on at the end. He definitely won the second half of the round, but Basharat kind of wobbling Matsumoto and putting him on skates in the first half of the round is probably the best offense either guy had. So I leaned Basharat, but if I rewatch it, I might feel differently.
Yeah, I thought it was short though. It wasn't like he definitely hurt him early and he backed up. But what I mean, it comes down to this. I mean, Basharat was smooth. I mean, he's super smooth. He's slick. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say he's no, he's not Sean O'Malley smooth, but he's like Corey Sandhagen smooth. Like, when I watch him, I'm like, man, and he's but Matsumoto, then the other side is Matsumoto it's all his pressure, volume, toughness, like willing, like can't mentally break. Like, anytime he was hurt, taken down. There was in the third round, and this I wrote down in my notes because I thought there was going to be the difference in the fight, and I was going to use this and like say, you want to see that, I thought Matsumoto was going to get the decision. At one point, Basharat took Matsumoto down, and Matsumoto created a scramble, and they both kind of were like on their knees next to each other. Yeah. And Matsumoto was able to get to his feet first and like punch him as they were both coming up. And
that was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to like screenshot it. Like, there you go. That's the difference. He like dug deeper, and that's why he won a close fight. I don't hate a decision for Basharat. I mean, like, I totally understand why anybody would give it to him, but Matsumoto, again, I'm just trying to compare styles, not saying not to success. He reminds me of Josh Van. His on the gas, not as clean a boxer, but that on the gas, breaking you in mindset. I'm blown away. Listen, he's lost 2 split decisions. I thought he should have won both of them. So, like, but I'm a Matsumoto guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, and Basharat, I mean, he's undefeated, won a 6th fight in the UFC. He was not comfortable tonight, whether you thought he won or lost.
No.
Like, yeah, like it was a great performance. It was a good performance for both fighters. One of the ones where neither really lost much from their stock.
But all right. First of all, Bob Simpson, shut up. He's not Josh Van. All right, you're on the Josh Van bandwagon. Cool. Like a year and a half after I said he was going to become UFC champion, people laughed at me. Cool. When he was getting knocked out by Charles Johnson, and I was like, yeah, he's going to win the title. Yeah. Oh, he went to split decision Mahjong. Yeah, and Charles Johnson knocked out Josh Van, and we can go on and on about great guys who've lost to people. Like people lose. You know, who was the guy? Rio Shonen submitted Anderson Silva. Like, get out of here.
Flying scissor heel hook,
Yeah,
man. Still one of the greatest subs ever.
Yeah, he's just trolling over here. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. So I checked MMA decisions. It was 9-5 for Basharat on MMA decisions.
Okay.
But 64% of the fans agree with me. But watching Basharat, it is, you know, obviously he's the undefeated one. He's the one high in the card, but it's like, dude, like the level between the two brothers, it's like his brother would have folded.
Yeah.
The pressure of a Matsumoto, and I know it's obviously, you know, completely different, but like Basharat was able to withstand some of the swarms and that's why he won a close fight. His brother would have folded.
And that's the primary difference between the two. If you watch them shadow boxing, they look very similar. Similar body type, similar basic skill set. They're not that far apart in age, but you're completely right. The intangible differences between the two are why Basharat won a close decision tonight on the main card, and the other Basharat, you know, was on the prelims, like just scraping.
Yeah. I was watching this Basharat, and I'm like, even though I gave him Matsumoto, I'm like, dude, there's no doubt this guy's a top 15 guy. Like that's like him not being ranked top 15, like he beats top 15 guys right now. Yeah. There's no doubt. And I think Matsumoto does too. What are we doing? What are we doing, Basharat?
I'm giving him Honey Barcelos. Barcelos has won 4 in a row.
Our boy.
And he does things that I want to see Basharat have to deal with.
And plus, we always have to, like, we have a quote of, we have to say, yeah, Honey Barcelos.
I mean, at least you're not a top 15 guy until, you know, right. We've asked whether you can beat Honey Barcelos or not. Here's the thing. It's also about what Barcelos has earned. Like, he's, 38 years old, 39 years old. He's won 4 in a row. He looks as good as he has in years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from a UFC rankings perspective, it's actually a step up for Basharat, so it doesn't hurt him either.
Yeah. I just feel like if I'm Basharat, and I don't know do you have the UFC rankings or the Sherdog rankings near you?
I got the Sherdog rankings right in front of me.
All right. Is Barcelos in our rankings?
He's number 15.
Okay, number 15. All right, who's number 14?
Ayman Zahabi.
Okay. Okay, who's number 13?
Jakob Wicklatz, who fought on the prelims.
All right. Well, first, that's ridiculous. He shouldn't be able to. Two guys.
I don't think he necessarily will be after our rankings discussion tomorrow.
Guys, I'll make sure that stuff gets fixed. I got you guys. I'm listening to the fans. I hear you. All right. If you're obviously say the rankings were different. Say Barcelos was 13, and I know this is not the UFC rankings. This is Sherdog's rankings, but say Barcelos was 13. And you're like, I want a top 15 guy. Normally, you want 13 instead of 15. Like, you want the high guy. But if I'm a up-and-coming fighter, and they say to me, okay, you can take on number 13, again, like I'm flipping them, Hani Barcelos. You can take on number 14, Ayman Zahabi, or you can take on number 15, Wakab. How do I say it? Wicklatz.
Wicklatz, yeah.
Yeah. Give me Wicklatz.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Even though I don't go much, I am not trying to take on Hani Barcelos. Even if you win, even if you beat him, you know it's a miserable fight.
Yep.
It sucks. Like you're digging deep. It sucks.
Yep. That's
I went with Vinicius Oliveira, but and again, I'd much rather have Vinicius Oliveira. than Hani Basalos.
Oh, based on what we saw tonight, yeah, you bet.
And I mean, he's the one more likely to knock you into next week.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's move on. Before that, Dustin Jacoby took on Julius Walker. We said this. We had a really good night.
Yes.
Did you even get one wrong?
I
got two
actually
wrong. I got two wrong. I get the first two fights of the night wrong. And then I won everything after that. I picked Priscilla Cachoeira. Shame on me for picking Priscilla Cachoeira. I should know better. I apologize for that. And then I picked Gafarov.
Oh yeah, I picked Gafarov too. That's the one I got wrong.
That's the only one you're wrong. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, you were 1 second away from winning.
Possible.
And I know. Well, they said that Miklas was going to get the decision anyways, but how mad would that been if you had one loss and it was 1 second? Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, we had a really good night in our picks. But to me, what was the way we picked the fights? I care more about the way you pick the fights.
Sure.
And we picked the fights good tonight. Like we both were on like Batista, wrestling heavy. We were on Horiguchi style. I mean, not Horiguchi style. I mean, everyone was on that. But one of our most confident picks was Dustin Jacoby.
Yep.
We both were on Dustin Jacoby and liked him.
He's going to make it look easy.
Yeah.
And now, granted, he got just carried around the cage like a 4-year-old throwing a tantrum in Target for most of the first round. But
yeah,
there are a lot of fighters that if you spot them like 3 easy slam takedowns on Dustin Jacoby, that thing's not getting out of the first round. A lot of this was Julius Walker just showing his inexperience. Like I'm not off him as a prospect. He still has component tools and physical skills that are going to make him a matchup problem for a long time. He's super young. That was just like his 9th professional fight. But yeah, like so many other fighters in the division are like, wait, you carried Jacoby around like a little kid and dumped him wherever you wanted,
twice.
Literally anywhere you wanted twice. Why were you still there to get knocked out in the second round?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anybody who wrestles a lot will win at least one fight in the UFC that they shouldn't have, that they're not as talented, just because they put themselves in that position to win. They give themselves a shot. Yeah, he's talking about like picking up a little kid. Like I coach wrestling them there. God, way too much. But little kids, and when they're like, oh, get in a pot, every once in a while I have a kid like, hey, come on, coach, wrestle with me. And I go, all right, I'll wrestle with you. And if I'm going against a kid, I'm talking 12 years old, like I weigh a lot more than them, or 14 years old, I weigh a lot more than them. I will always put myself in the position of a move we just worked on. So I want them to go for the move. If they're not going for it, I start like, I'm wrestling them. I'm like, what position are we in? Like, what are we working on today? Like, hello, I'm putting myself in a front headlock for you to do this. But then, we have like a 3-minute timer and then we switch partners. If you wrestle me, I'm always going to put yourself in a bad position. But in the last 20 seconds, I'm shooting in, I'm picking you up, and I'm spinning you around like a helicopter, just for my own ego, just so you know. Just when you're like, oh, I was beating coach, I took him down 5 times. They're like, yeah, well, coach can also pick you up like a helicopter, and that's what he did. That's what he did to Dustin Jacoby.
Pretty much.
Well, first of all, the stoppage was horrendous.
Well, no, it just means that Dan Miragliotta reffed his 500th and 501st fights in the UFC tonight.
Oh yeah. Was he trying to get all the damage of all 500 fights into one? Like that should have been stopped like 3 or 4 times.
No, and here's the thing: even if you think the initial stoppage would have been premature, he moved in and he touched the fighters. Like Dustin Jacoby is standing over a guy that's knocked halfway senseless, throwing punches. He sees the referee's left arm and he feels the referee's right arm on his back. That fight is fucking over. Because what if Walker had come back to win?
And he got to his legs at that point, and he had his elbow on him, and then he hurt him again. And then he buckled him, and he kind of flopped down again. Yeah. And then he started punching him, and he flopped over again, and he was on top of him. Like he like flash knocked out 3 or 4 times.
He did, and Walker. What we found out about Julius Walker is like he gets hilarious googly eyes when he's rocked. So
Yeah.
it's
He Rashad Evans a little bit.
yeah, pretty much.
So do you? So I mean, the Kobe's on this turnaround, and he's such a likable dude. Like I love like the out of the
Yeah.
UFC for a long, come back, having this like resurgence and up and down. Like he came back to the UFC and went on like a nice little run, and then he looked like he was washed, and now he's kind of like on a nice little run again. He's got 3 straight knockouts. Are you starting to believe in like in this little late career last hurrah?
I I believe in him as much as I ever did. I believe that he is capable of beating certain top 10 fighters on the right night. I wouldn't favor him like even at light heavyweight where it is relatively much easier for a flawed or limited fighter to make it to a title shot and even win the title. It's hard to pick Jacoby because like I said, there are a lot of light heavyweights in the UFC, including some that are not ranked, that saw what Julius Walker did in the first round and were like, oh, dude, I would have squozed Jacoby's head off just now.
Yeah, I think you said it right. Like I believe in him and he's fun. I want, and this is I think you said it perfectly when you said like I believe him as much as I always have. However, his inability to keep people off his legs is the problem. Like no
Mhm.
matter for him to like go on a championship run, which obviously we know that's a extreme long shot as it is, but it becomes even more if you have a hole and you can't address it because people are going to get into his legs. And you're right, like someone's going to put him on his back, and he's not going to get back up.
I mean, he fought Iwan Kutalaba to a draw that he arguably should have lost. He's the same guy. I think a fight with Kutalaba would go exactly the same now, and Kutalaba like is washed out of the UFC. Like we're
Yeah,
not even talking about top 15. We're talking about not good enough to be in the UFC, and I think he might have beaten Jacoby tonight.
I remember reports going off on Dan Murgillo being the worst referee on the MMA roster. Uh, I will say he is one of the worst, and you know, Ben, I have a funny story about him that I won't tell on the air. We've talked about that before. Uh, I'm gonna go with my man Pope over here. I still think Chris Coyote is the worst. Um, but it's funny when you see bad referees. Like I've never been a fan of Mark Goddard. I feel like he does a really good job of making the fight somehow about him.
Yep.
But then when you see the other guys, you're like, oh damn, Mark Goddard actually is really damn good. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he somehow makes it all about him, but damn, yeah, he's pretty good. All right, guys. It is everyone's favorite time of the show. It's a time we get to do the know your host question and throw some in the chat. We'll try to add them to the list. We'll get to next week. Don't be a weirdo like my man Antoine Willis trying to find out where we lost our virginity. But Ben, you have a surprise question. I don't
Yeah.
know anything what you're gonna ask. So what is our know your host question? If the question relates to you guys, oh, that's a good question, Antoine. If the if you can relate to the question, throw your answer in the chat too.
What kinds of stuff are people outside of work most likely to ask you to help with, Keith?
To help with.
Yeah. I.e., the things that you're kind of known among friends and family for being good at or being
So the first one always people are always constantly. You say outside of work, people are always going to call me about some place question. But they constantly like if I get a phone call from some guy.
That's fine. Honestly, I just
Okay.
I didn't want to ask the question and be like, "Well,
Sure.
people dial 911 when they need me." No,
Yeah.
because there are some doctors that people ask them about their lumps and coughs outside of work, and there are some that they don't. So yeah.
Yeah. So I get the like if I get all of a sudden it's like this friend of a friend calling me or some guy I haven't talked to in 5 years. I'm like, all right, who got arrested? Who's getting sued? Who's like it's um I'm thankfully I'm past the like, can you help me move age? When you're in your
Yeah.
20s, you still help people move, and you're like, oh god, there's nothing worse than helping someone move. Um, yeah, I think that's probably it. I don't have like some great skill that like someone calls. Oh, let me call up Keith.
Okay.
What's your answer?
There are three that came to mind for me. I
Okay,
mean, one is writing slash editing. Can you look at my resume?
sure.
I'm trying to write a book. I get that. I get trivia a lot, like
Like, can you do trivia with us?
or hey, do you know
Oh,
about some random like I shocked a couple of my kids in the car a few years ago, like after they were both adults, like I was visiting them at college because they questioned me for like a half hour straight on what cities different bands are from, and
oh,
even ones they didn't even think I knew the bands, and I
you're
was
good at that.
just crushing it. Yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that sticks to me. But you know
Yeah,
what?
that's your
There's a reason it's called trivia, and I don't live in a bigger house than I do. It's all useless knowledge.
yeah.
And I'm also out of the helping people move phase,
Yeah,
but
no
I'm
doubt.
still the person that people will call to ask to move a heavy thing, like hey,
Oh, like what? Yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
Like you move.
like
Yeah,
I don't know why. I'm like 5'9" and weigh about $195 right now. I'm not a huge dude, but I think I look yoked in a t-shirt, so they assume I'm super strong. So yeah, if someone ordered a chest freezer and they need help getting it,
yeah,
moved
that's
in their
fine.
garage,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's it's like the whole like entire move. Like, no, get movers. Like
Get movers. Dude,
but we're past that. When you're in your
dude,
20s,
I got a mover for the first time just so all my friends would kind of quietly know that I'm not available to help them move anymore. Like I moved and we hired movers, and then they were all like, "Oh, well, I can't ask you to help me move anymore because you paid people to come move your shit and didn't
yeah,
call me." Like,
I've never said no to a friend, but thankfully that call hasn't happened in a extremely long time. Um, I don't know if I told you this, Ben. Kind of fitting. I was asked to DJ somebody's wedding, and I've never
oh,
DJed before. Not only did I DJ their wedding, I had 1 day's notice, and I
okay.
didn't,
When
and I
was
didn't
this?
really.
Like how much? Like kind of what yearish?
2006, and the coolest thing, I mean, I knew these people, so there was more to the story than just that. But they had the best thing is they're like, you have to know these people. They're the best people, but the guy showed up late to his own wedding because if you know this guy, you'd expect it. But there was a big controversy because his wife was super young, like 20 years old when she got married. And he wasn't. He was like 29 or something. There was like a pretty big age gap, and it was like very controversial. So they like took pictures. They took everything was taken. They're like, oh, so I started playing games with a guest because they got like really like what the hell, guys. And then he walks in. They come in and like, hey, yeah, why don't you like tell some jokes and stuff? Like I'm a freaking stand up comedian. Like, so I'd like write down like a little stand up set too. And there was this one joke I said. I said, well, you guys all know why John was late for his wedding. And I'm like, so Brittany could turn 18. And it was like dead silence. And then they started like dying laughing, and then the whole place like started laughing. But like it was at first like, oh my god, did he do that?
That's
And
amazing.
he's like, so at the end, somebody came up to me. It was awesome. He's like, hey, I was just wondering, like, my daughter's getting married or whatever, or something like that. And she's like, how much did you charge them for the wedding? And I go, I didn't charge them anything. They're like, oh, I know you got like close friends, but how do you know they charge? I'm like, I've never DJed in my life. He's like, really? Like you were awesome at it. I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's different. It's like my friends, so it's like,
Yeah.
Anyways, not that anybody's asked me to DJ the wedding. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get to
Give Lila about another 10 years.
yeah. Well, I DJed her Sweet 16 party, and I actually had, believe it or not, I actually had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, I bet,
and,
dude. That
and,
sounds amazing.
and the little 16-year-old teeny boppers like actually said that your dad was awesome at it. Um, I didn't check. I'm sorry, I didn't check the listen to see if they put anything in there. If there's anything in there, what you guys get asked to help with, I mean, I've you know what I do still get help. I still help like people paint, which is
Oh,
another,
dude, my
like I
deltoids
painted
are
my
like burning right
yeah
now. Like,
I painted my entire house, like my outside of my house, and I didn't ask a single person. Like I didn't ask anybody to go up on ladders for me to paint. No, No. Anyways, let's get back into the action. We got to the prelims. Ben's boy Alex Moreno fought against Denai Dunchenko, with Dunchenko winning by unanimous decision. Ben, I know I don't want you to give away any insight from the camp or personal information, but I think it's pretty fair to say Alex Moreno came in with a bum knee.
All right, you want some tea?
as he had
the one that was wrapped up wasn't even the worst knee.
Oh,
guys, this is why I am no longer willing to give picks for people that I see in real life.
He's like trying to bait him, like kick this leg instead.
No, just his left knee's been bad forever.
Okay,
it's half the reason he stands to box like he's on stilts now. Yeah.
So let me show you something. I don't know if you can see this. See that finger? That's broken all the time. That's permanently broken. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When I wrestled, I would purposely tape up I would tape my fingers here and then wrap it around my wrist. I would tape both hands because when I first started taping just this finger, I noticed people would pull on it more. So I had to like fake him out and like put it on both hands. So that's what Alex got. He's got to go Sakuraba and have the knee pads on both sides. So no one knows which one's a bad leg. But yeah, obviously Dunchenko was kicking him in his leg, and it was like almost instantly his leg was buckling
Toast.
on him.
Yeah.
There was, to me, watching this fight, and I know it's not fair for you to really comment. I get it, but
I'm happy to comment.
It looked like different generations. Like this to me was Alex. I mean, you obviously are friends with him, and he seems like the man. And it reminds me of like when I go to the YMCA, and I work out or I'm doing cardio, and I'm like, I want to run on a treadmill. And like every once in a while, I like hop into the courts and like pick up basketball.
Yeah.
And like my one goal is like, don't tear my ACL, don't get hurt. But there's like, you never know who's there. So there's like 3 or 4 40-year-olds. There's like one 60-year-old who's somehow like great. Like, and then there's like 20-year-olds and like kids dunking and shit. And you're like, that's what I felt like. Like this felt like a guy who's dunking versus the 40-year-old who's like half dragging up the court. Like,
I completely agree, even to the point of, the young guy in the midst of completely dominating, having to learn a few lessons. Like, here's the thing.
I don't feel better about Dunchenko after this.
No, but it's not one of those like, oh, he's exposed. It's like, okay, this is what it's going to look like when you fight a guy where you outmatch him and you win every minute of the fight, but he never goes away and he's still throwing spinning shit at you and he's still hitting you cleanly halfway through the third round after you've beat the living shit out of him. Like,
I love how Dunchenko's like, I wanted to give him fight of the night. Like
you would have rather given yourself performance of the night.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you wouldn't have complained if you just knocked him out in the first round. But
yeah, he wanted fight of the night, so that's what I wanted to give him. Like, what? So you purposely was getting hit and punched? Like, shut up.
Come on, dude.
Speaking of purposely getting punched, Nico Price signed up to be a punching bag as he took on Nikolay Veretennikov, winning by first round TKO. Nico Price took this fight this week because we didn't break
4 days notice.
Yeah, 4 days notice. And I feel like he could have had 4 years notice and it wouldn't have made a difference. I didn't learn anything about Veretennikov. I don't know if all I learned is Nico is absolutely washed. He can't take punches anymore.
That's about all. And here's the thing: his style was always going to live and die on that. When a no defense, all durability fighter hits the end, it's never pretty. And it's not. I mean, Nico Price was always the opposite of pretty. Only in Florida could that dude have 7 kids. But yeah, it's over.
Yeah, he got knocked out by the ghost of Robbie Lawler in the retirement fight. And you know how, this ain't like boxing where they give a guy a retirement fight and it's like a cakewalk or,
No.
MMA, we like to slay our heroes. Robbie Lawler knocked him out. And the worst thing is he got knocked out tonight and he was like, why'd you stop the fight? And it's like, actually, it wasn't an early stoppage at all. It might have been a late stoppage.
Yeah.
You took too many shots. I don't know. I know I said I didn't learn anything about for Tenikoff. I mean, do you learn anything about him?
I learned what I already knew, that he hits hard if you stand right in front of him against the fence where you can't move your head.
Yeah, and he was in a position like he couldn't win anything in this. He had to do this, and he did. And the worst thing is, like, this is not going to be the last we see of Nico Price. Even if they cut him, he's gonna do slap boxing. He's gonna slap. What's this stupid power slap? He's gonna do freaking bare knuckle. We're gonna see him get more brain damage.
Yep.
Before that, Ketlin Souza took on Bruno Brazil. We both took Souza, right? That was a good call.
Yeah, and my call, yeah, we both took Souza by decision. And here's the thing: Bruno Brazil sucks. She is so disappointing. I was trying to think, because she came to the UFC with legit credentials, and Keith has made the joke, and it's a joke with a grounding in reality, that anybody that has set foot in a kickboxing cage or ring has a title of some kind. Yeah, but nothing. Brazil had legit high level accolades in Muay Thai, and she's not even a good Muay Thai striker in MMA. Like, people with far less technique and just more knowing what the hell they want to do and walking forward and doing it are beating her. And what it reminds me of is it's the second coming of Joanne Wood, where Joanne at the time Calderwood came to MMA with serious, with some actual accolades, and she turned into a decent fighter, but didn't really even turn into a plus striker for the most part. It's that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, she looked bad. The only thing worse than her performance in this fight was Paul Felder's commentary. Paul Felder was like going off on Ketlin Souza about, like, what is she doing? I'm like, what do you mean what's she doing? She's winning, like, easily winning. And I'm like, is he watching the same fight as me? Like, this was an easy. She clearly won the last 2 rounds. Like, what are you talking about? He kept saying, like, I don't get this strategy. And he kept going off and off. And I'm like, Paul, she's pressuring her. It was absolutely brilliant, because Bruno Brazil was on defense for about 10 minutes straight. She was backing up, backpedaling. At one point, she was turning and running away from her. She was on her heels. She could never really get in the first round. She was faster. She was like a lot of arm punches. She wasn't really hurting her, but she was like kind of piecing up from distance. And then Ketlin is like, I'm just gonna get inside on this woman. I'm gonna force it back to the cage. And Bruno Brazil did nothing at that point. She couldn't handle the pressure, and it was And I don't know. I think Paul Felder is a good commentator, but not in this match. Speaking of not being good, Javid Basharat took on Gianni Vasquez on, what was it, 3 days notice? Basharat won by unanimous decision. This is a flyweight who moved up, taking the fight on 3 days notice. I mean, he didn't weigh as a bantamweight, as he missed weight pretty bad. But he still almost knocked him out. He almost knocked out Basharat. And it wasn't that he just hurt him one time. He landed one big punch. He had him in trouble a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, the right fighter won the fight, but this was very competitive.
Yeah, I'm watching this, and I'm saying, like, yeah, Basharat won, but he's not the guy. Like, he is. And when they both came in, they both were hyped, him and his brother.
Yep.
Like, we know who the alpha is, and who's the Shogun Hua and who's the Ninja Hua.
Yeah, well, it's that at best. It might be more like Davidson Figueiredo, Francisco Figueiredo, Gilbert Burns, Herbert Burns.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Because it's more like the Herbert Burns thing, where they have basically similar skill sets, and just one of them has it here and the other doesn't seem to.
Yeah, I mean, I give him credit. Like, he did dig deep and, like, got some takedowns and was able, but, like, I'm watching Vasquez, and he's not showing anything. Like, he's a guy that I think his next fight, the line will be close to be based on what he did tonight. But, like, there's a pretty good chance I'm picking his opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I don't know who he's going to face, but
No, he wasn't even like the best regional flyweight in California, and he stepped up on 2 days' notice and gave Javid Basharat a really good fight.
That's actually a really good call.
Hey, Dan Lozon has an
He's
uncontroversial win over a current UFC fighter in Bobby Green.
he's such a douche.
Dude, Joe
I've seen
Lozon disowned him and kicked him out of the gym, and Joe was famously one of the nicer dudes. Like he had to be.
I've seen him in person many times, and they couldn't be too polar. Like in the crowd, like yelling at fighters, like saying like stuff you don't say, like just a douche. And then his brother is like the way successful guy and the nicest guy, and yeah. Anyways, um, before that, Wang Kong took on Eduardo Mora. Kong winning by unanimous decision. Um, I feel a little bit, and it's different at female MMA than it is men's MMA. I feel a little Dustin Jacoby with Kong.
I
Not to the same extent, but the great striker showed power again. Almost knocked out Mora. I don't know. I think it was the very first round. She hurt Mora bad, but Mora still had times where she was getting to her legs, and again,
yeah.
not to the same extent as I feel about men's MMA, but yeah, I don't feel better about her.
Yeah, she she might make it to a title shot just because the division is so desperate for a new face and one that actually has the history that she has with Shevchenko.
Sure.
It might come in handy, but she's
Sure.
not going to win her way there on merit. Like there are some gaping holes in her game, and at her age, they're not going to magically get better.
Yeah, it's like she's in such a tough situation because she needs someone like Valentina Shevchenko to be the champion. So they like, oh, Valentina already beat this girl. Valentina beat this girl. So we're looking for the person. But then on the flip side, Valentina's the worst stylistic matchup because Valentina's going to take her down and absolutely smoke her on the ground.
Yeah, like you beat Valentina Shevchenko 12 years ago in a sport where she couldn't take you down. Like
Yeah, a lot of people.
Toast.
Yeah, a lot
And
of people are super high on Kong. Like I've seen people but she could have won the title. Like Aaron Blanchfield smokes her right now.
I think Macy Barber does.
Macy Barber smokes her right now. Like she'd have to knock him out coming in, and like yeah, she definitely hits hard. Like there's no doubt she's maybe the hardest hitter in the division.
I mean, she might be able to stick someone like Jasmine Jasdavicius on the outside, kind of move laterally, patter her up, but
I don't think she beats her. I don't think she beats her.
Yeah,
I don't think she beats Tracy Cortez. You know, I mean, again, she has that power, but women like power in women's division is not power in men's division. You know,
no.
like hurting someone is like that big. Oh my god, she dropped someone that's like Derek Lewis knockout level. Oh, and let's not forget this. I don't know if you saw this. So I had it 1-1 hanging. I mean, I'm assuming you did too, heading into the third.
Yeah.
At one point, Wayne Kong comes out. She looks good. She's landing, and then Eduardo Mora closes distance, gets to the clinch, gets to her leg. She goes to run the pipe, and Kong grabbed the cage. Keith Peterson just like hit her hand, like, don't grab the cage. And then she was able to like, defend it after that. And then she ended up getting on top and landing. And I'm like, she was going down. She was going to fall. We just saw the round before when she got taken down. She had no answer. She just saved herself to win. Again, it was one of those, like, it wasn't like she may have went down. She might not have went down, but it was like, it was in the process of a takedown. And why wouldn't think about this for a second? If it's 1-1 and I'm going against an all-time great, I'm going against Charles Oliveira. He takes me down, it's over. Or a Damian Maia or Jacare, one of these all-time great grapplers. Why wouldn't I grab the cage? Because if I don't get taken down, one, you're going to warn me. You're not going to take a point. Then I can do it a second time. You're probably going to warn me again. Then I can do it a third time. Then you take a point from me. Okay. Now I got to draw. That's better than a loss.
Yep. I'm with you. Somebody in the Juan Cruz said cage grabbing is the worst. I agree. I hate cage grabbing more than nut shots or eye pokes because it always changes the fight and it's never accidental. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I poke.
It's the pits.
Yeah, I poke. You're doing something else. I poke. You're posting. And kicks to the groin. I mean,
they're going to happen.
It's going to happen. But like cage, you're purposely saying, I don't want to get taken down. I'm going to grab it. Yeah. And to me, the only fair thing is you grab the cage to not getting taken down. We're going to put you down. Like their intention, even if you weren't going to go down, their intention was to take you down. You grabbed it. You did something to stop it. We're going to put you down.
I've always been resistant to that, but as the years go by, I start to come around to it, or at least offer the other fighter the choice. Do you want him down in guard, or do you want to reset? Like, yeah, it's a problem, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so let's matchmaker because she still obviously has a lot of hype. She's had some knockouts. I'm gonna give it Jessica Andrade.
That serves one purpose. We both think Andrade is completely shot, so that gives Wong a name over a win over a serious name, moves her in the right direction. I'm fine with that. I was not higher on Wong after this. She blew weight. She didn't look fantastic.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Yeah.
I was going to give her a fight that seems competitively appropriate, and the UFC is probably happy with whoever wins. I'm giving her Veronica Hardy.
Okay, so like
Veronica Hardy's coming off one win and then a loss before that, so she's not in the immediate title picture, but she's someone that if she gets a win over Wong, it's not a complete loss for the UFC. If Wong wins, obviously that's fine for them too.
And she was on like a little run before that. She's won like 3 or 4, or 4 or 5 or something like that.
Kind of like Wong. Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, and guys, I know I'm gonna try to pronounce his name as well as Ben does, but Jacob help me out. Viklash. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Took on Moon Gaffarov. Wiklash won by 3rd round submission. I thought both guys looked good.
Yes. I mean, they both looked like at least good versions of the guys we thought they were. It wasn't a revelation for either guy and for me, but no, they look decent.
What I mean by that is like I watched both these guys and I'm like, both these guys are going to win more fights in the UFC than they're going to lose. Like if I took the division and I wrote down the roster and I don't know, let's say there's 80 guys in the division, they're going to be at least half of those guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have no problem. I mean, Gaffarov is right on the edge of that. He's 2-3 in the UFC right now, but assuming he gets the weight cut dialed back in, I mean, maybe shaving that patch on his back would get a pound off.
Yeah, I was surprised. So obviously I thought Gaffarov was about to win a decision.
He was. I thought it was too. Yeah.
Well, the commentary said that even so, that the judge was giving it to Vic Wash regardless. But his team. This is what drives me crazy about Gaffarov. His team told him to not grapple. He was winning the round. It was 1-1. He was winning the 3rd round. He was landing at will. Rick Lodge looked a little tired. He's getting beat up to the body a lot. He's landing good shots. And with like 20 seconds left, he's like, you know what it felt like? It was like it was like the grappling version of Max Holloway, like pointing to the ground and giving Gaethje like one more chance.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm going to give you one more chance to guillotine me.
That's got no one to blame but himself.
Completely. So I saw, and of all people that kind of be in this situation, Rob is this corner man who's in a similar situation back in the day with Ricky Simone. He said, and I'm going to say that the chat's going to hate me. I actually believe him based on how he was tapping in and everything. He said that he thought the round was over and he was like tapping. I'm like, all right, dude, like get off me. And now I'm not saying it like he clearly tapped before, so it was the right call. But right before he tapped, he gave like 2 thumbs up, like I'm good.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like he did. Like he thought it was over for some reason, you know, he heard something or I don't know. I mean, it didn't matter. He was going to lose the decision anyways.
But like I'm going to be like Cop Keith. Ignorance of the horn is not exculpatory in this case. Like,
that's true. That's true. That is true. You don't have to know the law. You break the law. It doesn't matter if you know it or not. That's true. That is true. So either way, I think I'll say about Vic Class. Like he's fun. He's fun to watch. Like he's a fun guy to watch.
I would be shocked if he's strung together enough wins in that division to get near a title shot. But he's going to beat some dudes. He's going to pick up a few checks. Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Paul, see, I bashed Paul Felder earlier, but I'm going to give him a compliment. He described me. He said he reminds him a lot of Renier de Ritter, and I'm like, yeah. The problem is he's in the wrong weight class. Like you can't do Renier de Ritter stuff in that weight class, you know.
No.
And speaking of fun, Ben's favorite fighter, Priscilla Cachoeira took on Claudia Sigala. Sigala winning by unanimous decision. Sigala looked way faster, better game plan, was sticking and moving, but she was good. She was great at being first, then third. Cachoeira had just kept throwing the same overhand right, and just she was trying to like counter overhand right, and it's like I was gone before she threw it.
And for her to be that much faster and smoother on top of being the bigger fighter, yeah, she looked great relative to the opposition. I still think if she has any serious upside in this division, she probably needs to get a little more Holly Holm in her and just be like, I'm going to be bigger than most of these women. I need to learn to use it. Because, yeah, like there aren't going to be any outs as easy as Priscilla Cachoeira going forward.
And then Cachoeira, I thought made it even easier because I'm surprised she didn't go for a takedown even once. And you could hear her corner telling it to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So
everyone else who tried to take Segula down took her down, in her previous fights, even the one she won. So yeah, you might as well give it a shot, but nope.
So there you guys have it. We have covered all 13 fights. Let's get to the fun stuff. Ben, let's do it seriously.
Okay.
Do you have any?
No, I had a pile of them last week. I used them all up.
All right, I'll give you a couple. I'll start with the fight we just talked about. How about Amanda Nunes' team raising, like they would do that moment where like the whole team like raises their hands together and in a fight that Cachoeira clearly lost. Like I went to MMA decision. Like nobody scored it for. Like she clearly lost the first 2 rounds. Like, dude, seriously. I already went off on fence grab. How about this? How about Wayne Kung getting taken down, like being on her back the entire second round, and one of the judges still went 30-27 for Kong. Like,
okay,
dude, seriously?
Tony Weeks at this point is just daring the UFC or any regulator to do something about it. That was inexcusably bad. It's Tony Weeks. Like, it's easy to remember when judges or refs screw things up because you can picture them or you can scroll back and see who it was. Judges need to be called out. Tony Weeks was miserable.
Yeah, I think to me it was the worst, probably, like voting since idiots voted Matthew Stafford MVP over Drake May. Like, cool. Yeah. Drake May wouldn't get more touchdown passes if he threw the ball another 100 times with 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers. Yeah. MVP of the league. And I'm the best player on your own team. Anyways, do we have the awards?
Probably, but let me take a look. Yes, we have 2 performances of the night and a fight of the night.
All right, 2 performances and a fight. All right, to me the fight, dude, we riot if it's not Basharat and Matsumoto. That has to be. Don't tell me. Don't tell me they gave it to Olasechuk and Barrio. Please tell me.
People of Rhode Island, stay inside, hunker down with your families until the riots are over.
I was gonna nominate it for Fight of the Year. I know he's not gonna win Fight of the Year, but it was that good, and they didn't even get a performance bonus.
Nope.
Olasechuk and Barrio wasn't even competitive.
Nope. Yeah, but it's a very UFC type decision.
Like, why? Like, but here's the thing: is you want like punching and kicks and like that's what they had. It wasn't like a grapple. I mean, there was some grappling, but it wasn't just a grapple fest. There was lots of
really
striking.
good fight.
There was more striking. That's bad. All right. So you said there was 2 performance bonuses.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad that the chat is with me. They're saying how insane that is. Do you agree with the performance bonuses?
One is pretty obvious to me. The other,
Batista.
There are plenty of like Bautista won. I'm fine with that. I mean,
totally.
He ran the dude over.
Yeah,
and main event, but a main event between 2 guys that are not making $500,000 a fight. Like $100,000 is actually life-changing money for him. I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my other performance bonus. I'm probably looking at I'm gonna go with Dustin Jacoby.
That's who I would have given it to as well. But you know what? They gave it to Jakub Vikwac. I'm fine with that too, because
I was about to lose. I don't know.
Maybe that's what makes it the performance of the night. Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Here we go. UFC two jobs. One, setting the lineup, and 2, now giving out the awards. Like, you can't. I don't know. Anyways, but hey, good for your boy, Vic loss. All right, let's get to the cut list. The cut list. The way the cut list works, if both me and Ben have the same fighter on the cut list, we give the UFC permission to cut them. And chat, throw out some of yours. Ben, I have a lot. I got 4.
I have 1. I have 2. I have 3. I have 4 as well.
All right, give me your first one.
Priscilla Cachoeira. She's lost 4 or 5. She sucks. She should have been gone 3 years ago.
Yeah. Jillian Robertson finally gets her justice.
Yeah.
We both have agreed. I'm gonna get rid of fan favorite Nico Price. Dude's lost 7 of his last 9 fights.
Same here, and this one wasn't even entertaining. And if that's gone, then there's no reason to keep him.
Yeah, that's true. All right, give me another name.
I'm letting Alex Morono go. I love him too much. I love his family too much. He's lost 4 in a row. And you know what? If you're going to go out like this, you're going to go out spitting a cloud of blood and throwing a flying elbow at a guy that is absolutely tooling you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go out better than that.
Yeah. People are saying that you can DJ a wedding and get like $1,500 for it. Alex, start DJ some weddings or something, dude, for your own good.
And here's the other thing. Like, at this point, Woodlands MMA is probably the number 3 gym in Houston after like Metro Fight Club, where Eve Edwards is essentially taken over, and 4 Ounce Fight Club, where Josh Van is from. Like he's built that, and way up on the north side, like not downtown like the other ones. He doesn't need this. The gym is doing great.
What about the Derek Lewis's guy?
It's just Derek Lewis and Bob Perez at this point.
Okay.
Like it's more it's a 1-fighter gym in a way that would make John Halkelman blush. Like I'm trying to think who their second best fighter is. Like, well, his all-time second best fighter is Daniel Pineda, who's over coaching Josh Van at his old gym. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So the last name I had, I'm gonna guess you don't have the same name. I'm going with the guy that apparently got fight of the night. I was cutting Marc-Andre Barrio. It was a fun fight.
I'm letting him go.
He lost 5 of his last 6 fights. He's got to eventually win. You can fight fun fights, but you also got to win.
No, he's what 6-10 in the UFC right now.
Yeah,
with a no con. Yeah, let him go.
Yeah, he's not boring, but you eventually got to win.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the Bulls and the Bears. The Bulls and the Bears are a stock market reference. You want to be on the Bulls list. You don't want to be on the Bears list. We do it 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go positive. Let's go. Let's go with the Bulls first.
Okay.
Mind if I go first?
Go for it.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Apex. I don't say this often. And remember, mind you, the Bulls is just mean your stock rose. It doesn't mean it's good. You know. But they added a crowd. Like they got like something like 1,000 people in there. You could hear the boos. You could hear them chanting things. The Apex has got the atmosphere has gotten better. So I'm gonna say the Apex is on the rise. My number 2, I'm gonna go Kyoji Horiguchi. I mean, he's 2-0 since his return to the UFC. He's like absolutely sensational in both of them. My man Ben is trying to give him a title shot right away. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he gets a title shot. And it's just definitely not out of the possibility that he wins. So I think Kyoji's stock is continue rising. And my number 1, I'm gonna go right in the main event. Mario Batista, what he did, first headlining card. I don't like giving my number 1 bull to the main event guy, but he looks absolutely sensational, brilliant. The way he hit takedowns, that transition that he did at the end, that's going to be on his highlight reels forever. So, Mario Batista, what do you got?
I agree with all yours. Let me add on Poland. Polish fighters went 3-0.
Oh, nice.
On the night with Segula, Viklash, and Oleszczuk. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And how they do in the winter? How's the Winter Olympics going right now? Anybody any idea? I haven't watched a single second.
Neither have I. Like I'll catch up on stuff tomorrow. In between doing shit for the Super Bowl.
I think in the last 20 years, the only Olympic stuff I've watched is wrestling. And that's
not. I'm gonna throw in Dustin Jacoby. Like he did what he was supposed to do, got his chance on the mic, which, I mean, if he hadn't won, or even if he had won but gone all 3 rounds and they're feeling pressed for time, he doesn't get a chance to call his shot to fight at the White House. I don't think he's getting the golf game with the president, but he could be on that card. And that's the brass ring that 95% of UFC fighters, even the ones that aren't American, are grabbing for. It's going to be the most talked about event of the year and maybe the most watched, depending on how available they make it.
I think it's going to be super disappointing.
Well, sure. Anytime we try to plan something to be the best thing ever, it's disappointing.
It's going to be super. If I'm the UFC, this is what I'm doing. Like, everybody wants me. This is what I would do. I'm sending an email to everybody, and I'm like, listen, I'm only putting American fighters on it. Like, listen, this is our White House. It's our event. I'm only doing American fighters. Sorry. And that right there. So right there, you just cut like 80% of your roster. And that I'm saying that my next one's like, all right, guys, I'm only putting people who's won a title or I'm only doing ranked fighters. Something like that. And I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, well, yeah, like the way MMA is going now, like Russia's gonna go 3-0, as he said. America's gonna go like 0-6 on the card, Anyways,
the only other one I'll throw on is Fareed Basharat. Just this was a test. This is a fight that, would you be shocked if they ran it back 3 years from now for much higher stakes? Like, no, I'm not saying one of these guys is champ 3 years from now, but it wouldn't shock me if one was. So
or the headlining of like fight night, like different rematch. So, yeah, totally agree. How about I give you another one? I think he was terrible tonight, but still pretty impressive. My man Dan Murgata has now refereed 500 UFC fights. That's pretty impressive.
501.
501. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. All right, let's get to the Bears. This is the list you do not want to be on. Ben, I'll let you kick it off.
Bears. Javid Basharat. Yeah, he won, but he won in a way that has me lower on his stock than than a loss to his originally scheduled opponent would be. Like, this is a win that just really says bad things about his direction going forward.
I had him on my list too, so
Yeah.
it's not often we put winning fighters on that.
Yeah. I'm going to throw in Vinicius Oliveira. Like, he wasn't favored to win this fight, but even as someone who picked Bautista comfortably, I expected him to do more than this. Like, this was the kind of loss that's going to make it's not going to scare many people in the bantamweight top 10. And number one is got to be Jailton Almeida.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to lose fights. I've already belabored tonight. Heavyweights lose fights, even the champs. But the way he's lost and even the way he's won some of his fights, I'm struggling to think of somebody that lost likely future title contender upside quicker and harder than Jailton Almeida.
Yeah. You honestly, you had my top 3 picks. So I'll give you a couple other ones that I had. I'm going to go with Paramount. I didn't have any problems with Paramount tonight. I actually checked out the multi-view thing. It was cool. Like, that was pretty cool. I watched that from the main card on. But I heard a lot of people had problems. I had that microphone problems. My volume was great the whole time, but I heard that's all I saw on Twitter. Like, so, I saw Jose Young saying like he couldn't get on for like 45 minutes, he missing fights, so not good. My number 2, I'm gonna go with Priscilla Cachoeira. She lost 4 out of 5, and I'm gonna go more Amanda Nunes coaching. And I guess my number 1 will be Amir Albazi, and I'll just say this: dude hasn't won a fight in almost 3 years based on injuries, and maybe toss this guy a softball or something. All right, hardest question is always, what is your grade for the night?
A couple people have been in the running, but RC Nordo killed me a couple times tonight.
Oh, that was your listener. Okay, yeah. I mixed it up. I say grade, but yes, listen to RC Nordo. Okay. I'm gonna go with we had a lot of good ones.
Yeah. SOS Rampages, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my man SOS Rampage. I said his name a lot tonight. I'm gonna go with SOS Rampage. What was your grade for the card? I forgot to do grade.
I'll give it a C+. Like, there were some bad fights on this card. It really didn't even pick up until kind of, midway through the card. Like, the top 2 fights were very, very interesting, and that kind of saved it. Otherwise, it was coming in much lower.
Yeah, I had a C+ too, just because of the top 2, and then honestly, to me, Basharat and Matsumoto, I was on the edge of my seat for that one. That was you know what? Because I knew it was gonna be such a great fight, and it delivered. All right, so Ben, the absolute last question before we go, and this is probably the hardest question I've ever had to ask you. This is gonna be tough, Ben. How many points do the Patriots beat the Seahawks tomorrow in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to say 8. That it's going to be a weird one that like breaks down to like going for 2 or not going for 2, defensive battle. Like, you pin me down to it. Give me 21-13.
All right. I'm going to say it's going to be 50 to -3. Seahawks kick a field goal the wrong way, and it's going to absolute slaughter. Screw all you guys. Our Patriots are back on top. Anyway, so there's our recap. We have a week off, Ben. What are you doing this week?
I don't know. Nothing terribly out of the ordinary. UFC is going to be in town the week after, so nice. Really kind of vacuuming out our guest room so that Jay Petrie can crash with me for a couple days while we go cover it live.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.